just in case you think that this African-American vote is monolithic for Hillary Clinton, you might want to take a peek at the second most powerful Georgia Democrat. He's Georgia State Senator Vincent Ford, who was telling me earlier on that he's a Bernie guy now, Bernie Sanders. Take a look.
Right now, what I am most focused on is making sure that Bernie Sanders gets the nomination, that he wins in November.
And you think he has a better chance as the leading Democrat than Hillary Clinton?
I think Bernie Sanders is exciting the Democratic base. I think he's exciting independents.
All right, so Democratic strategist Majorie Clifton. You know, Marjorie, I heard that. I know he's a big deal in Georgia, very influential, dominating player in Georgia Democratic politics. He comes out for Bernie Sanders, and I think something like that could be a watershed move. What do you think?
Well, Sanders, his crippling issue has been minorities,
right.
You know, leading into these, and now we're going to states that do have a much broader base. So they say in Nevada in 2008, only about 70% of the voters that showed up to caucus were white, the rest mostly being Latino. And so now we're moving into states with much higher pools of voters of color. And so Sanders winning those audiences is going to be a big play. And what Sanders wants to accomplish in Nevada, if he can win Nevada, it basically tells a new story, which is I can win the general election because I can win in states that do have a more diverse base. Looking back to Iowa and New Hampshire, which were about 90% white. And so while he has the millennials, what we're seeing is that he might be locking in some, especially those younger Latino voters, and them also being the key to all future elections, because that's the fastest growing population in the country right now.
All right, well, so, obviously the Hillary Clinton people immediately came out and sort of downplayed that, said Nevada really isn't representative of the cross-space appeal that she has, particularly with African Americans. But I would imagine that offends Nevada Democrats all the more, right?
Yeah, I don't think that necessarily plays well to downplay, but I think, you know, she's nervous. And it sounds like her campaign is really having to hop to try to play in a state that they've been working in for a long time. They felt like they had a stronghold, and I think it's been a surprise to all to see the momentum that's being created by the Sanders campaign, by the media, by his win in New Hampshire, and now, again, speaking to those messages that are resonating with African-American and Latino voters in particular. So, you know, can he pull them away with, you know, Hillary Clinton having gotten the endorsement of the Black Caucus over the weekend? That's a big win for her. And so, again, the question is, are pundits like me and all the polls going to tell the real story, or are we going to see something completely different happen when it comes to caucus day? And
real quickly, it's an expectations game, right? He doesn't, that is Bernie Sanders, have to win the African-American vote, but if she's polling 85 to 90% and all of a sudden she gets 70%, that will be deemed a disappointment, right?
Exactly. And I think, again, why the win itself, you know, Nevada itself doesn't determine the whole of the election. It's all about the momentum and the story it tells. So if she wins, then she's in a much stronger position going into South Carolina and then future elections.
Marjorie, great reads as always. Thank you. Majorie Clifton.